Hello everyone, before we start the video I'd like to say a couple of things. So we recently hit 10,000 subscribers, which is incredible and amazing, so thank you very much for that. In part of celebrating 10,000 subscribers, I set up a temporary PO box for the channel, meaning that for the first and probably one of the only times in this channel's existence, even in the near future, you guys will be able to send stuff in for an unboxing video, a fan mail unboxing video, whether it's letters, whether it's physical stuff, whether it's Doctor Who related, whether it's not Doctor Who related, absolutely your choice. All the details are in that video on the channel. You can go and find it yourself, or you can click on the little white information symbol in the corner, because YouTube's lovely like that. That's the top right corner. Click on it, go on, you know you want to. Anyway, stop rambling, let's talk about Series 12. Hello everybody, I am Ace Creeper and today I'm back with a brand new video. Today we are talking about Doctor Who Series 12 filming. Of course we are, when aren't we? There's a lot today. This is one of these things where like no news for a while and then suddenly BAM! Loads of news, loads of things to talk about. Some of which connecting with, actually pretty much all of it connecting with what we've talked about before on the channel. We're going to be splitting this into 4 different sections. The first section will be about the Barry Island filming with the Tuxedos and all that sort of thing, and the connection with possibly episode 1, MI6, all that sort of thing. The second part will be talking about a confirmed guest actor for somewhere in the opening block of episodes, so that could be anything. Then we're going to be talking about the idea of a potential historical based in France. That's going to be another interesting one to talk about. As well as the sort of final part, the fourth part, which I'm most excited to talk about, is Jodie's potential new costume for the Doctor, which I believe will be temporary for like 1 or 2 episodes. And you'll see why when we get to it. This is the theory. So, we're going to start with Barry Island filming. So, yeah, a while back, and I can't remember which day it was, I believe it was probably just short of a week ago, the TARDIS team, -1, that being Jodie, were filming in Barry Island, which I believe is in Wales. I might be wrong on that. I can't remember where Barry Island is, but yeah, it's somewhere around there. They're all in tuxedos in this lovely little village square on what looks like a very rainy day. Tosin and Brad, they look like they're going to BAFTAs. And Yaz is kind of wearing a sort of black suit jacket with a white shirt underneath. Not quite sure, because there's no bow tie there, and it doesn't seem to be a proper shirt, but it seems to be representing the same colour style. So I think potentially that's going to tie in, first of all, with the MI6 thing. We've talked about this before, you know, Stephen Fry, that big old government building, and all the things on the wall which suggest that episode 1, or at least I think it's going to be episode 1, because it's a big, dramatic spy type thing. It only makes sense for it to be episode 1, in my opinion, or a New Year's Day special which leads us into the series, who knows. But I think it's definitely going to be one of the first ones, if not the first one that we see from Series 12. And I think the way they're building up all this spy thing, and they are still filming the first block, as you can see, I definitely think this ties in. Typical Tuxedos, sort of Sean Connery, James Bond type stuff. Like, that is definitive, like, MI6, spy, threat, all that sort of stuff. I'm getting that feeling straight away from these, especially from Bradley. What a man. In the second photo, we've got outside Shoe Zone. You can see, this is probably during filming. I believe this is whilst they're filming, so this is actually a shot of them filming the show, which was good. I believe that's our first shot of the show being actually filmed for Series 12. So that's great, especially when it's a good, nice shot of the actors as well. They're all on their phones, which is a bit odd. Now, it was a bit odd until a lovely member of our Ace Creeper official Discord server called Kyle came on, who was actually there for the filming, and kind of described the basic outline of what actually was happening whilst filming. So, there was Bradley, Mandip, and Tosin filming. They walked across the square in tuxedos, Yaz was on her phone, and Ryan yelled out at her to destroy it before smashing it. That's about it. So it seems like a very short and basic scene, but it doesn't tell us much. It really doesn't tell us much, but it tells us enough where we can have a think about, okay, here's something then. So Ryan yelling at Yaz to destroy her phone and then actually smashing it, whether that's Yaz smashing it or Ryan smashing it, either way, they're getting rid of their phones, they're destroying their phones. That's, I don't know why, because didn't happen in that episode, but I'm getting a little bit of reminiscence from Bells of St. John, with the whole Wi-Fi thing. Maybe it's something to do with that. MI6, notorious, of course, as well, for one of the only government services, the other ones being MI5 and I believe GCHQ, to be able to access public records and all that sort of stuff, and access private personal data if required by the law, all that sort of stuff. We're not going to go into all that serious stuff. but it's a thing. Those who watch The Bodyguard might also be familiar with the concept, because that was the kind of main theme of what that politician was trying to push, the RIPA Act, which is the Regulation of Investigatory Powers Act, I believe. So that's a thing. But it could be something to do with that, the whole mobile phones, MI6. It does kind of connect, but it's a very thin string. At this point in time, I can't pretend that I have some sort of major theory about it, because quite frankly, I don't. I think this might be episode 1, and I think this might be connected with the MI6 episode. But at the same time, it might not be. It might be something completely irrelevant, but it's going to have something to do with the mobile phones, so hopefully some sort of technology based one would be quite interesting. A little bit Black Mirror-esque, where it's trying to give a sort of presentation of society as it is now, which is always works really well in Black Mirror. So let's see how they do it in Doctor Who, and maybe they'll go along those sorts of lines. Who knows at this point? Tell me your theories in the comments. The next part of this video is regarding a guest actor, which is going to be a very short segment from someone's online CV portfolios called Molly Harris. Title Doctor Who, the role of Suki Cheng, and the director Jamie Stone for the BBC. Now, Jamie Stone is directing the first block of filming for Series 12. That includes episode 1 and then one other episode from the series. I don't know which one that is yet. But if the spy one isn't episode 1, then that could also be whichever one was filmed in South Africa. And I believe that's this one. Because if you look at Molly Harris's Instagram, there are photos of South Africa at the same time they were filming. Obviously, here's the evidence that she's actually doing with Doctor Who. She's in the first block because Jamie Stone's directing it, etc. So there you go. They have been filming, and here's one of the guest actors from whatever episode is going to be filmed, or has been filmed, in South Africa. So that's out the way, that's done. There's a guest actor. There's your first guest actor for this. So that's fun. Next, we are talking about the Glamorgan Building. I probably butchered that word, probably because I can't speak English sometimes. This is a place in Cardiff that is a very old, traditional-looking building that you can probably see here in this lovely Google Images photo I managed to find. It didn't take very long, but it's nice. It's a nice little building. Very classic, very reminiscent of, like, it reminds me a little bit of Let's Kill Hitler, a little bit. Similar to that of the style of building that they were filming in for episode 1 as well, which is interesting, because this could be the same episode. And the reason I believe that, I'll talk about, again, when we talk about Jodie's apparent new costume. For now, though, people have been talking about the idea that this could be based in France. There's some very old type of sort of large, pillared, sort of posh-looking buildings around this area, which could easily be passed off as France. France maybe in sort of revolutionary times, student revolution, the French Revolution. There's different eras you could explore. We haven't had that since Girl in the Fireplace. Another notable mention is, of course, City of Death as well. So there's a few elements that France has shown up in, but nothing really since Girl in the Fireplace have we seen anything like that. I personally think an interesting idea, if we were going to do something based in sort of France in history, I think what would be interesting? I think the Treaty of Versailles. It's a big moment in history, connects very easily with World War I. You can have some famous historical figures there. Of course, big French palace building, that's a given. And I believe, and I haven't got a photo of this unfortunately, but I think I was scrolling through Twitter earlier and I believe someone mentioned that there were some sort of 20s and 30s cars around there, like some proper original type European vehicles around that era, the sort of Treaty of Versailles times. So maybe that's a hint to what this story might be about. Maybe it's not. Maybe it is just part of this whole MI6 thing with the big posh government buildings that we've already talked about. But who knows? Tell me again your theories in the comments below. Now, the final bit I want to talk about is Jodie Whittaker's supposed new costume. Now, everyone was going on about this a couple of weeks ago, like, Jodie Whittaker's getting a new costume in all the series, and then a couple of episodes, and then a few episodes, and then one episode, and then it was never clear, because no one really seems to have a clue. It's the same sort of rumours that came last year with the cat being in the TARDIS. I've started not to believe that Jodie Whittaker was getting a new costume, until today, because today, or last night, I should be a bit more promising there with that, we got some new photos outside that building I've just mentioned, which looks kind of a bit French, could be used in a sort of French period type episode, but it could also be used as a big government building as well. I'm going to go with the government building theory for now. Now, stay with me on that one. Because that could also be, obviously it's block 1, so that could also be MI6, could join with that a little bit. And here she is outside the building with a few fans, a couple of different photos, and you may be able to notice straight away that underneath her big zipped up puffy jacket that she usually wears when filming, there's another coat underneath. Now in Series 11 of course she wore that sort of grey, light blue type one, which I personally thought was lovely, but that doesn't look the case here. And you can see like it's a sort of black colour. That's pretty much all it is. It's a black colour. It looks like a very, very long coat, almost like David Tennant's trench coat, kind of. But it's definitely obvious there that that is not the same coat from Series 11. She will have a new coat, I believe, in Episode 1. And I think that's it. I think she'll have the same costume for the rest of the series, but I think in this episode, she's going to have a different one. And the reason I think this, and it came a little bit, sort of thinking myself, a little bit from a wonderful art piece from the Twitter user Jinoodle, who is brilliant, by the way. Go and follow her. Some brilliant art on there. But genuinely, from these initial photos of literally just a little bit of that new coat showing, straight away theories about what this could be. Now, looking at the tuxedos of the rest of the TARDIS team from Barry Island, looking at the other theories about a James Bond style thing, sort of MI6 type thing for Episode 1, and then looking at this with the black coat, she and a few others came up with this idea that is she wearing a tux? But not just a tux, you see. Wearing the same trousers as before. Wearing the same boots as before. Wearing the same coat as before, the only change of course being that the coat is now black. And instead of having a t-shirt with the stripes on, there's a white shirt with a black bow tie. Now, here's the drawing she did. I love it straight away. I think it works. And she pointed out it also makes a lot of sense as well in terms of if you think about how people really, really love Jodie in Capaldi's outfit. So seeing her in Episode 1 again here with this sort of darker outfit looking a bit more like another previous Doctor of notable mention, I think that could work, and I think that may be the case, especially again, MI6, James Bond, tuxedos are already a thing with the other TARDIS team. Here's a mock-up I made of how I think they probably go about it. It's very rough, it's very weird, and just based off what we've got already. I believe the coat will be pretty much the same, but kind of with the main colour being black. Which I think, yeah, I think they're still going to keep the navy inside, and I think they'll still keep the rainbows on the outside, because I think that's just so 13th Doctor that actually just works. I quite like the idea of her having a sort of shirt, tuxedo shirt with a black bow tie, and then a sort of darker trousers. And the reason I say darker trousers is, again, because of this one photo, another different photo, even here, from the World Down Syndrome Day thing that they did, I believe, again, today. A photo they took, and Jodie's trousers, I don't know if it's just me or whatever, or whether it's the filter, but those trousers, first of all, are definitely the 13th Doctor ones, because them trousers are way too high to be any other type of normal attire / wear. I feel they are much darker in shade than the normal blue ones that we got throughout Series 11. I feel just straight away they just don't look as blue. They are a little bit blue, but they look more black, which then takes me back to the idea that this whole thing could be a sort of one episode thing where it's MI6 themed, spy themed, having a few elements of that, but she's wearing a 13th Doctor variant of a tuxedo. Not a tuxedo, but a 13th Doctor version of it. That's kind of where I think they'll go with it. It's just a theory. Don't take that as fact. Don't go on Twitter and if you don't like it and go, oh, this is horrible, I don't, whatever. Like, this is not confirmed. This is just me having a bit of a theorise, basing off the information we already know. Here's what I think they might go with. Anyway, saying that, that's pretty much all I really want to talk about. That's quite a lot to digest, but please do leave your theories, comments, etc. in the comment section below, and where else would you put them? Leave a like if you enjoyed the video, subscribe with notifications on if you haven't already and you want to stay up to date with all the Series 12 filming, news, theories, discussions, whatever. Check out the Patreon page if you want to support the channel and the content that goes on it. Check out the Discord server if you want to talk about Doctor Who, if you want to talk about all the latest Series 12 things. They all pop up in there. Most of the information here popped up in there like early this morning, so you didn't even need a new video to tell you if you were in that server. So that's great, I suppose. That's pretty much it. I hope you have a lovely day. I'll see you all next time. Have a lovely day. Bye-bye.